Alrighty, so we are now on step four. For our videos, you've seen step one, where we got on the contract. You've seen step two, where we went to the design center, and you've seen step three, which is when we went to our actual lot. Now, mind you, everyone's process is different. Some people sign their contract and then go to the lot and then go to the design center. For us, we signed our contract. We were given a design center appointment. And then after the design center, we went to our lot. If I can remember the order correctly, I believe that was it. But today, I want to let you all know the next step. So, the next step that we went through was exciting, but this was the time where patience really kicked in. So, first step was, of course, site prep. And so at this point, we've chosen all of our options for the home. We've went to the lot. For my husband and I, we wanted to pray over our lot. We are Christians, and so we wanted to dedicate our lot to the Lord. We know that this was a blessing, and so we wanted to do that. We also wanted our son to experience it and have that cool experience of walking on the ground because, of course, he was like, I don't see a house yet. And so it was cool to kind of allow him to be a part of that as well. But after that, of course, you don't see a lot of movement for a while. And so you're like, what's going on? In the background, what you don't see is that permits are getting obtained by the builder. Things are getting obtained by the builder for the particular city where you're going to be building, or the particular county that you're going to be building. And so those things are going on kind of behind the scenes that you don't see. But then you will see site prep, and I'm going to include videos, or not videos, but pictures of this. You can hopefully see it on the video, but it's site prep. And so literally you see them clearing your land, excavating your land. You see footings put in place, and I'm looking at my notes if you see me looking down. Concrete is poured, all that stuff, right? So once your concrete is poured, it's exciting because it's like, wow, that's our concrete, right? But you still don't see much. And so next, there's an inspection. And that's something to note throughout this entire process. There's a lot of inspections going on too that may seem like, what are they doing? Why is it delayed? But they're inspecting, which is great. Um, and when I say inspecting, I mean a building inspector. Um, so after that, you eventually start seeing framing of the house. This is also an exciting part because you're starting to see what your house will look like, right? You're actually seeing the walls in terms of course, the framing for where the walls will be. The floor, you're seeing kind of where that will be, what that will look like. Roof systems, all that's constructed, and then you see it get wrapped in protective sheathing. Usually, it's going to be wrapped with your builder name on it. So you may see Lennar Homes, Dan Ryan Homes. For us, it was Eastwood Homes. You'll see it wrapped in that sheathing. And then eventually you'll see the roof added, which will seal the home before the interior work begins. Then after that, you will see plumbing, electrical, and HVAC. Okay, so then once the framing is done, the plumbing, the electrical, and the HVAC contractors, they all get to work on the inside. And you'll see all that taking place kind of all together. If you're going to your house regularly, you'll see all those three things happening all together. So the HVAC is going to install the ductwork, the heating, the ventilation, the AC, vents, the pipe work, and the plumbers and electricians, they're going to run that stuff through the walls, the floors, and the ceilings. And so it's really cool because at this point it's just framing up, it's just wooden frames up, and you're going to see that stuff really clearly in your house. And so at this point you have the building inspector, another inspection. Like I told you, it's a lot of inspections, but they're going to come out, they're going to examine the framing, the electrical, the plumbing, all of that at that point gets inspected. And then you also will have insulation. Now, quick note for us, we did not see insulation at this point because we had our pre drywall walkthrough. And so some builders do it different. For our builder, we had our pre drywall walkthrough, and then they did inspection and then insulation. For others, you're going to see All those things happening. Then you're going to see an inspection. You're going to know that an inspection is being done. You're going to see insulation, and then you're going to come in for your pre-drywall walkthrough. And again, very exciting times. I will also include pictures of that in the video too, that you will see. My family and I, we walked through our home. We wrote scriptures on the frames. We prayed as we walked through the home. Again, just for us, it was very important, and it is very important to dedicate our home to the Lord. We know that it's a blessing from God. It's exactly what we want in this season of our life. And so we were writing scriptures. We were writing things all over the frames, as you'll see in the pictures. We were there with our realtor. We were there with the builder. And, before we did that process of writing on the frames, he literally walked us through every part of our home. So he walked us through every room, showed us where everything was, showed us which options we chose, and showed us how that was going to look in our home and where it was located. And so you kind of, at this point, you start to somewhat visualize your house, right? Because you're like, okay, that's where the office is. Okay, that's where the kitchen is. Okay, that's where the living room is. But it's still a little bit tough because remember, you still are looking through wooden frames. So you're kind of looking through rooms that way. You don't see anything up in terms of walls, right? So that happened. That was super exciting for us. Being able to go through every part of our home, ask questions. I would say to give yourself about an hour and a half, hour and a half for that, because you don't want to rush. You want to ask as many questions as possible. And I can do a separate video to address questions to ask at your pre-drywall and like what you should be doing. But the one thing I will tell you even now is that you need to take tons of pictures and tons of video. Why do I say that? Because at the end, when you have your beautiful home, right, and you're ready to move in and you're ready to start decorating and putting up pictures and putting up stuff on the wall, you want to make sure that you are not banging a picture, a beautiful picture, into a bad place on the wall, right? Where there's a pipe or where there's something that could definitely be detrimental to the home. So it's really important to know what's behind those walls. So pre-drywall walkthrough, super exciting, super fun. After that is when you start really seeing stuff come together. So after that, you're going to see drywall being hung. Before that happens, though, an inspection happens, like I told you, but then you start seeing drywall hung. And then after that, you're going to see, let me look at my notes, y'all. So drywall is hung, which is also called sheetrock. And then you have the seams taped, so those are hidden. A primer coat is applied in preparation for the finishing process. And then at that same time, you may also see exterior finish. So I know for us, we were able to see like our siding come together, the stone that we chose for the front of the home, all that was also happening. It seemed like they were happening together, I would say. And then after that, interior trim. So that's when your window, your door, trim, your casings, your moldings, railings, all those things are installed and painted. And so I'm going to stop there for this video because I don't want this to be too long. But also after that, we have a few more steps that are also exciting. But I think they deserve their own videos. So hopefully this was helpful. Again, I will do a separate video for a pre-drywall walkthrough to kind of address any questions that we asked. I know we asked a lot of questions and we were happy that we did. And, this is your home. This is one of the biggest investments, biggest purchases you will make. And so it's important to ask those questions. For us, this was our first new construction home, but not our first home. And so we knew about some things we wanted to ask based on having a home before or owning a home before, but we wanted to ask even more detailed questions now with it being new construction. So that is all. Comment below if you all have any questions. And again, I will insert pictures also because I know that is super exciting to see. And let me know if y'all have any questions.